Welcome to the Disrupt Your Career podcast, brought to you by Claire Harbour
and Antoine Tirard. We're passionate about helping everyone find fulfillment in their work life.
We believe that big, messy, uncharted career changes are inevitable, and it's up to you to decide.
Will you take control and disrupt, or allow yourself to be disrupted?
We wrote the book about it, and now we share here our conversations with other thinkers in this crucial area.
Settle down and get ready to listen to this dose of wisdom.
So this time on the author chat, we're having back on the podcast Jo Owen, who joined me about a year ago, I'm thinking, and we talked a lot about his various theories and principles and realities of leadership. He's writing a book. In fact, he's writing two books at the moment, but the one that we're here to talk about is Smart Thinking, which is due to be published early November of 2024. Jo, thank you so much for joining me.
With you again.
Fantastic. Then let's start. The big, easy questions. Why did you write the book? And when you've done with telling us about that, perhaps share a little about how you wrote it.
Smart Thinking came about by accident. So it's an accidental book that caused me total panic. Because the publisher asked me, have you got any other books beyond Smart Work and Smart Leadership, which I wrote? And in a fit of idleness, I said, well, we've got to do something different. How about Smart Thinking? And he said, oh, idea. So I go back home, sit in front of the computer, go, right, Smart Thinking by Jo Owen. Smart Thinking is, oh, blimey, what is it? What is smart thinking? So I go to the bookshop to get inspiration. I discovered there's an entire section called Smart Thinking full of Nobel laureates. So I've just committed to writing the category-defining book on smart thinking, and I haven't got a clue what it is. So what I think we are going to do, and I try to do, is three things. First of all, define what is smart thinking, number one. Second, the book shows that actually everyone is a smart thinker, especially, of course, if they buy the book. Everyone is a smart, obviously, right? So everyone is already a smart thinker, but actually everyone can think even better. Because having gone through endless iterations of what is smart thinking, is it being as smart as Einstein? No, well, that's a short book and useless, Is it about having high IQ and lots of degrees? Well, lots of people with high IQ, and they do really stupid things and don't live great lives. So is it about knowing the 168 logical fallacies that Wikipedia unusefully list out? Well, if you know all 168, yes, you're smart, but actually you're also a smarty pants who will lose friends and alienate people left, right, and centre. So we're left with what is smart thinking. And actually, what it is, it's really simple. It's about understanding how to navigate life successfully. That's simple. If you understand how to navigate life successfully, you're a smart thinker. And it doesn't matter whether you're Einstein or whether you're working in reconciliations in the back office of a bank, or if you're a Dogon tribesman in the middle of Mali. If you have worked out how to navigate your life successfully, you're a smart thinker, because you're having to make all sorts of choices and decisions every moment of the day to figure out, well, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I relate to this person? How do I solve this? How do I do it? Do I plant things? We're always making these decisions. And most of the time, we're making good decisions. Yet we are on autopilot. That is how smart we are. We don't even have to think about thinking. We're on autopilot and we just do it. To give you an example of how much we're on autopilot, you're in a car at the moment. When you next cross a bridge, are you going to demand to see all the engineering drawings, check the engineering drawings and check the maintenance? No. You just drive across the bridge because you can assume the bridge is safe. And when you get in a lift, elevator if you're American, do you check all the maintenance records? No, you just assume. So we make endless assumptions. which actually are very useful, because if we didn't make those assumptions, life would be impossible. So we're navigating life really well without even thinking about it. Now, occasionally, we all have those moments where we go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Or we have little meltdowns where we get into a funk and we start sort of ruminating and seeing that the whole world is a terrible place. Those are the moments where actually we could land up thinking even better. So smart thinking is about how you navigate life better, how you make good decisions, how you make good decisions about how you feel, about how you relate to other people, about how you understand and interpret the world around you, whether it's reading papers, reading reports, whether it's understanding numbers. The whole time we're having to think and react well. Most of the time we do it well. Sometimes we get really let down by our own thinking. So what smart thinking does is it helps people identify all those moments where you can think even better. So, for instance, whatever your mood is at the moment, you may think that that is being dictated by your environment. Maybe, you're out on a terrace somewhere sipping a glass of wine and you're very happy. Maybe you're outside getting cold and miserable. Maybe you just met someone who really cheers you up. Maybe you've met someone who depresses you. These are all things that happen. But actually, how you feel is your choice. And that's a really difficult thing for people to understand. But once you understand that you can choose how you feel, and then you understand how to choose how you feel, then it is liberating and empowering. Because now you can choose your feelings as you want, more or less independently of circumstances. And isn't that brilliant? Now, I was born to be a pessimist. I was always taught that the only reason it's not raining is because it's about to rain. Since I was got Welsh heritage, there's a good reason for that actually being reasonably accurate as a statement. But if you live like that, that's pretty depressing. And all the evidence shows that optimists live longer, get richer, and do better than pessimists. Lots of research on that, which is devastating for a pessimist, because that means I'm going to die young, alone, and poor. Okay, so I have even more reasons to be pessimistic. But then you realize, actually, optimism and pessimism, choices. And you can learn to make those choices. So I've learned, I have the Recovering Pessimist Guide to Optimism, and that's part of the book. You can choose to be optimistic. You can choose to be pessimistic. That's just one little example. What's the difference between smart thinking and sort of weak thinking? Actually, it's very simple. The difference between smart thinking and weak thinking is basically 2 seconds. That's all it is. Because most of the time, we're on autopilot, and autopilot works. Okay, great. But occasionally, at those moments of truth, right, those really difficult, critical moments, autopilot can really let us down. Yet we suddenly lose our angry, get frustrated, whatever it is, and a bad situation rapidly gets a lot worse. Just because our autopilot goes into fight or flight and it's all a complete mess, basically. 2 seconds. By those 2 seconds, so you move from autopilot into conscious thinking. And most of the time, you're a smart thinker already. You will make a good decision about how you actually want to react. So we can get terribly fancy and sophisticated about smart thinking. Actually, this is a really good news book. You're already a smart thinker. The difference between smart thinking and weak thinking is often 2 seconds. Yes, are there a lot of tools and techniques? Yes, there are lots of real simple hacks that you can do just to, for instance, choose how you feel, or to read effectively, or to work numbers. I list those all out, but the message is simple. Smart thinking, you're already smart. You can think even smarter. Think about 2 seconds. That's it.
It sounds like the book for everybody.
I think it is the book for everyone. And it certainly was the book for me, because I started with this terror of the blank sheet of paper, and then went on this voyage of discovery, thinking that smart thinking would be this highfalutin, academic, technical stuff. It isn't. It's about life. And actually, it's so empowering and so encouraging. It's a wonderful book. It'd be so tempting to say, oh, you need a remedial course in the thinking. No, you don't. You're already good. Build on what you're good at. Trust yourself. Learn some of the hacks as well, and you'll get even better.
Wonderful. I love the fact that it's full of good news stories. I wonder, is there a particular singular story that you might care to share about how somebody in your book improved their thinking drastically and became much happier, much better off?
I'll go back to the Recovering Pessimist's Guide to Optimism. You are as you think. Literally. We take Descartes. I think, therefore I am. So, the Owen version of Descartes is that you are as you think. Thinking is optimism or pessimism. That's one axis. So I started off as pessimist, but then did some really simple exercises. Exercise 1. Just note down 3 good things that happened today. At the end of the day, before you go to bed, pen and paper, Bible, 3 good things that happened. And soon enough, you start noticing all the good stuff in life. I mean, you could do the pessimist version, but note down all the bad things that happened today, and you just get really depressed. Okay, yes. And you notice all the bad stuff, but notice the 3 good things. So, for instance, now every day I get up in the morning, and I wake up 2 miracles in 2 minutes. I go to the bathroom, turn on the tap, cold water comes running out. Unlike when I'm working with tribes where I have to walk a kilometre to a river to draw some water. Then I turn another tap on, hot water comes out, and I don't have to start a fire to heat the water. 2 miracles in 2 minutes. You can't have a bad day after that. So we tend to take all these miracles in modern life for granted, but once you're aware of them, it's like, isn't this brilliant? So that's one simple exercise. It's clinically proven. Do it for 30 days. You will start seeing the world a different way. Another really simple exercise that I do with groups is this. I make an offer to groups. I have a time machine, and you're welcome to come in this time machine with me, and you can bring your family and friends if you want. And here's the deal, that we will go back 250 years, and you're going to be able to live the rest of your life as a prince or princess. Okay? What a deal. I mean, who doesn't want to live life as a prince or princess? So who's going to take me up on this offer? And regularly, 90% of people decline this incredibly generous offer. Why? Because they think about it and go, well, hang on, I'm now going to be living without central heating or air conditioning. I'm going to be living without electricity, without indoor sanitation, without anaesthetics. And I just had an impacted wisdom tooth extracted. Try doing that without anaesthetics, without internet, without social media, without And they go, blimey, So think about this. 90% of people are saying, actually, my life is better than royalty used to be 250 years ago. Isn't that great? So maybe, just maybe, life's kind of not so bad after all. So again, the book's full of little examples like that, just to help people think a little bit differently and maybe a little bit clearer. So you're already a good thinker, but there are so many little things we can do to just make it even better.
It sounds absolutely wonderful, Jo. I can't wait to be able to read it myself. For the listeners to be able to get hold of a copy from November the 7th, or maybe there's even a pre-order on Amazon, who knows? But it really does sound as though between the hacks and the stories and the general principle that it's for everyone who are already almost all the way there, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we will, of course, provide links to the listeners so that they can go off and get their own copy and carry it with them everywhere. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed hearing from this month's guest as much as we did.
Do go and check out our work on disrupt-your-career.com and come back soon. Thank you.